Assalamu alaikum, our viewers. Welcome to our series about how to learn tajweed, or it's better to say how to pronounce, how to read, how to recite Quran right. It's vital to introduce in this episode by shedding light on the meaning of a tajweed, its position in Sharia, its significance, and basic components. Many Islamic scholars have highlighted the meaning of tajweed literally and technically. The word tajweed basically is derived from the Arabic word, its root word jawada, which means to make well, to improve or to make good. It also means to enable, to make possible, and to bring forth was better. As technical term, tajweed means to make good and to better your station of the glorious Quran, by giving each letter its right with regards to the pronunciation of the Arabic letters, and safeguarding the rules of recitation and completion of letters such as idhar, clear pronunciation, idgham, assimilation, and aqlab, which means substitution. You will know all these terms after that. This definition could serve as an explanation to the verse from Quran. You'll find it in Surah Al-Muddammil, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, recite the Quran in a slow, measured, and rhythmic tune. رَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. So, Uthman, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said that the best among you are those who learn the Quran and teach it to others. In Sahih al-Bukhari. And learning how to recite Quran correctly is an obligatory act upon every Muslim, as you achieve quality rather than quantity. Of course, the ideal way in which to learn how to read Quran with tajweed is under the guidance of a qualified teacher, so that help can be given regarding correct pronunciation and mistakes corrected. The importance of this cannot be underestimated, simply because of the requirement to be heard and corrected. However, having said this, it's recognized that sadly there is a lack of teachers, and therefore it's not always possible to study alongside one. If this applies to you, please don't let this to be the reason to discourage you from embarking upon this very rewarding goal. The bare minimum should be that we at least start to gain understanding of the rules and make an effort to self-correct our station through listening as Sheikh al-Husari and al-Hudayfi. Whatever happens, don't despair if the rules initially seem too complex, as I can promise you that it will get easier the more you practice it. Try to apply the rules in your daily recitation. The reward of tajweed. Ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Messenger of Allah said that whoever recites a letter from Quran or from the Book of Allah, he will be credited with a good deed, and a good deed gets a tenfold reward. I don't say that Alif, Lam, Mim is one letter, but Alif is a letter, Lam is a letter, and Mim is a letter. Why we need to learn tajweed or tajweed rules? Okay, I will tell you. When Islam was being spread, and it was done so at a very quick pace, and also into non-Arab countries, not everyone's tongue was accustomed to the Arabic letters and sounds. Thus, when reciting the Quran, much error and distortion occurred, and the Muslim scholars feared that distortion of Quran and perpetration of Quran. It was at this point that some of them recorded the rules and foundation that regulate the correct pronunciation of Quran, which they named after that as signs of tajweed. The rules basically were not made by these scholars. In fact, all they did was closely observe the perfect readers who read Quran as they were told by the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and wrote down for later generations the rules of recitation of the earlier generations. From the outset, tajweed was a science that cannot be learned only from a book, and will always retain this inherent quality. The important part of tajweed is learning about correct positions of the organs of speech and the manner of articulation. The Quran can lose its meaning if the letters are not pronounced correctly. I will give you an example. Like what? Like the word kalb and qalb. They are similar, very similar in pronunciation. The first two letters are very similar in their pronunciation, and if I did not pronounce them correctly, I would change the meaning completely. So tajweed will help you not to do this problem and not to make such mistake. Basically, tajweed is not intended to be just learning rules and committing them to memory, but rather the correct application of these rules while reciting Quran. When tajweed is observed, the reading will flow smoothly and eloquently. The reader will also be sure that he's following the Holy Prophet's example by reciting the Quran, just as the Prophet did, and just as it was revealed to him. And be patient. Failure to adhere to these rules may result in an unacceptable manner of reading, altering the entire meaning of the words and making one guilty of the intentional utterance of these words. Incorrect recital of Quran is called lahn, which may deprive you as a reader from any reward in the hereafter. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. There are three things that you have to know about tajweed: harakat, makhraj, and the sifat. Harakat means, I will give you the summary of it, means vowel movements. And makhraj means prescribed point of exit, point of articulation, where the sound of each letter should come from. Sifat, the manner of articulation, the characteristic of the letters and recitation. So, to each letter, we have harakat, makhraj, and sifat. You will know every piece of information about tajweed, inshallah, in this series. So now you know what does it mean tajweed. And what's the reward of one who will apply, inshallah, the rules of tajweed and learn it. In a summary, I will tell you the etiquette of proper recitation of Quran. Every day, you have your portion from Quran. You have to read Quran even for 10 minutes. But you have to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only accepts deeds that are correct and sincere. A sincere deed is one done for Allah only, alone. And correct deed is one done according to the rules of Sharia, the Islamic law. Therefore, reader should follow certain principles and reciting. When reciting, the most important rules are as follows. 1. Wudu, to perform ablution. Secondly, actually this is bird. Some scholars said that it's not obligatory. I will deal with it as etiquette of reciting Quran. You have to do it in order to feel the beauty of Quran. So you have to perform ablution. You have to read Quran in a clean place, in pure, legally pure place, tahir. Thirdly, you have to, the reader should begin with ta'awud, which means seek refuge in Allah from Satan. In the beginning of surah or in the middle, you can say this. You can say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فإذا قرأت القرآن فاستعذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. So when you recite the Quran, seek refuge in Allah from Satan, the expelled. The reader also should say that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim at the beginning of each surah, except Surah Tawbah. The reader should read the spiritual spirit to purify your voice while reciting Quran. And if you listen to Quran, you have to listen carefully without interrupting it with your voice or with your speaking. So it's required of anyone who hears the Quran. If you hear Quran recited before you, whether from reader, qari, which means qari, television, computer, or any source, any other source, you have to listen and think about the verse. فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا. So when the Quran is read, then listen to it and pay attention that you may receive mercy. You have also to use tajweed, to apply tajweed while reciting. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. May Allah reward you all.